Hey there. How's everyone doing tonight? Saturday night, just got in from my usual Saturday night routine, our usual Saturday night routine. My husband and I are part of a recovering couples group, and we go out and meet with our couples group every Saturday. We have meeting and we have fellowship. And I wanted to kind of come in and talk a little bit tonight about how recovery is a priority in my life in so many ways. I am part of course, a processed food addiction recovery group, which I am passionate about and love being a part of the rewards and the lessons that I learned in this group from group leaders and from others. Peers of mine in the group are just too numerous to count. And I'm also part of a relationship recovery group that is my own, and in addition to the relationship group and the couples group that I'm part of with my husband. And I just cannot say enough, whether it's 12-step, whether it's faith-based, whether it's agnostic and it's just based in psychological or intellectual recovery practices that are founded in a maybe cognitive-based therapy. Whatever the recovery group is or practice is, I can't stress enough the importance of having that structure of being part of a recovery group and the fellowship that it provides, the lessons that are learned, the stories that are shared, and the camaraderie that develops. And I'll also just can't say enough about the longer I'm in recovery, and it's been 14 years now since I started recovery, the longer I'm in recovery, the more I realize this special snowflake syndrome that really sent me to my primary addiction of processed foods. That special snowflake syndrome. Nobody's like me. Nobody could understand. Nobody could possibly get me or knows what I'm going through, and therefore the only option I have is to go to the food. That doesn't exist anymore. Once you're in the world of recovery, I have found that I am more alike the folks that I am in recovery with than I ever am different. And that those similarities, that connection is what keeps me coming back and keeps me feeling like I don't need to hide in the food anymore, or I don't need to hide in dysfunctional relationships anymore, or I don't need to try to, in my own personal relationship recovery world, I don't need to control the world anymore. I don't need to, try to control the world anymore. And so, this thought, this idea of like this special snowflake syndrome really just comes up in my mind again and again, especially after recovery meetings. Every time I leave a meeting, whether it's virtual or hybrid or in person, I always feel connected. I always feel full of love, full of support, full of connection, full of truth. And I always am glad I left. I'm always glad, that I went, of course, and that as I'm leaving, I'm glad that I left feeling the way I feel. And I'm just, noticing that special snowflakeness that I thought I had, this disease of terminal uniqueness that so many people in addiction struggle with. I struggled with that for years. It was my identity. It was my victimhood was my identity. And now I don't have that anymore because I have so much connection in my life. And they're connections that are true and deep and meaningful and interesting with people that are as flawed and as beautifully broken, their words, as I am. And they own it and they love it and they cherish their recovery and they're fierce protectors of it. And so, on a channel, this channel that I'm building, talking all about processed food addiction recovery, I can't not talk about the importance of formal, structured recovery programs and groups. We're not meant to be, as human beings, we're not meant to be alone. We're social creatures. We're meant to live in tribes and work and grow and function in tribes and in groups. And that is where I thrive and where my recovery thrives. And every aspect of my recovery gets better, right? Whether it's food recovery, or relationship recovery, or couples recovery, every aspect of my recovery gets better when I allow myself to open up and be part of these groups. And also when I make sure, as a processed food addict in recovery, when I make sure that these social settings, if they're outside of a formal recovery meeting where there's, typically 95% of the time, there's no food. But fellowship after meetings sometimes is done at restaurants. And I have learned in the last 9 months that it's very critical for me to speak up for my food needs, to bring food with me if I have to bring, things to eat with the food that I'm ordering at a restaurant, with these fellowship groups. It's very important for me to know my limits of the day, my limits of where I can go that I won't be too cued or too triggered, and also where I can sort of be that I can bring what I need or order what I need, or make sure that I have, a special request of the restaurant if needed. And more importantly than that, even, is my ability to speak up for my needs, my ability to tell my fellows in recovery, hey, this is something I need to do tonight, or can we please go here tonight? And if not, no big deal, I understand. And that, be prepared to go it alone, or my husband and I to go to another place that is more suitable for my needs that day. And in processed food recovery, speaking up for oneself, that is critical. It's certainly not a special snowflake skill, but it is something absolutely critical in recovery. And I'll talk more about that in the future. But today I just wanted to talk about how I'm so grateful that I am not a special snowflake anymore. And I know I'm not. I am a member of a group, a member of a tribe that that might look like processed food addicts in recovery. It might look like couples in recovery. It might look like individuals in relationship recovery. But we are all more alike than we are different. And that is just such a gift. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for coming by, and I'll see you soon.